film begins with two different perspectives. First, our main character named Julius Robert Oppenheimer. Let's just call him Robert. He is undergoing a closed trial aimed at destroying his reputation as the most influential physicist of that era. Then, from another perspective, there is Louis Strauss, who is undergoing a qualification hearing to become the U.S. Secretary of Commerce while telling the story of how he first met Robert Oppenheimer. Returning to Robert, he also tells the story of how he became a famous physicist in his era. It all started when Robert studied physics in Germany, because at that time he felt expert in the field of physics, and at that time Germany was developing an innovative quantum mechanics theory. Feeling already an expert in quantum mechanics and physics, Robert then became a lecturer at a campus in the Netherlands. After that, Robert met Isidor Isaac Rabi, who introduced Robert to a very famous German physicist named Heisenberg. In 1927, Robert finally received a doctorate and a professor title at a campus in America. There, Robert became a lecturer with quantum mechanics lessons that were still unfamiliar in America. Robert also became close friends with one of the world's top physicists named Ernest Lawrence. Initially, Robert only had one student, but as time went on, his students increased and liked to discuss with Robert because the lessons brought by Robert were very interesting. Lawrence then invited Robert to have dinner with others. At the event, Robert's brother named Frank was also present. As the event progressed, Robert met a woman named Jean who adhered to communist ideology, and their relationship became close and they eventually became lovers. Not stopping there, at a different event, Robert met a woman named Kitty. Their relationship became very close. Even Robert was tempted and alone with Kitty. And finally, Robert, who liked Kitty, decided to marry her and leave Jean. Of course, Jean, who knew about this, was very sad to know if Robert preferred Kitty. But anyway, Robert still kept in touch with Jean. The next day, while at campus, Lawrence told Robert that now Robert had to be careful, because now Germany has successfully made a new bomb that is believed to have a very devastating explosive power, and Robert could be being spied on by Germany because previously Robert sought knowledge in Germany, and he could be considered a threat. Sure enough, not long after, a general named Leslie Groves came and invited Robert to participate in a project called the Manhattan Project. The purpose of this project is to create a bomb that can rival Germany, which is already more advanced in making its new type of bomb. Because if America lags behind in terms of armaments, then America could lose badly to Germany. Hearing this, Robert agreed to run the Manhattan Project. He then asked Leslie to build 4 research laboratories scattered in a location called Los Alamos with a railway range. Then, in the middle of the 4 labs, a small town was built for the workers so they could bring their families on duty that would take a very long time. In addition, the place is also suitable for this very secret research and also far from settlements for bomb testing. Leslie agreed and immediately made Robert's request. During the construction, Robert and Leslie met the famous physicists in America to participate in the making of this atomic bomb. Of course, some of them disagreed because they would move to a remote place for a very long time. But anyway, these physicists must be willing because the country needs their services to win World War I. Then Rabi, who was also invited to the Manhattan Project, was made doubtful because this project could cause bigger problems, one of which could destroy the world and could change the war to be more horrifying. But even so, Rabi had no other choice but to serve his country. In short, the city was successfully built. Robert and the other physicists immediately researched and made an atomic bomb. But Robert found a problem because the calculation from one of the physicists named Edward Teller made everyone confused and considered Teller's calculation wrong. Therefore, the confused Robert went to meet Albert Einstein for help. After meeting with Einstein and giving Teller's calculation results, after seeing it, Einstein felt that if the bomb used this calculation, then the bomb explosion could be very large and could even damage the Earth's atmosphere. Then the next day, Robert invited Kitty and their 2 children to go to Los Alamos, because now Robert has to be often there to make an atomic bomb. After that, Robert and other physicists were discussing the material that will be used in making the atomic bomb, namely uranium and also plutonium, which is estimated to have an explosive power equivalent to 1,000 tons of TNT. But Teller, who was there, suggested using hydrogen because according to him, if using hydrogen, then the explosive power will be greater, and they can get an explosive power equivalent to 1 million tons of TNT. But Robert still chose to use uranium and also plutonium. After discussing the bomb material, they all then discussed to make a model that will be the trigger to explode the bomb. Not long after the discussion was over, a new scientist named Klaus Fuchs came, and he was recruited by Robert to participate in the Manhattan Project. Even families of the physicists also helped in this project because, according to him, it could reduce staff and families could still gather. Because of his actions, Leslie was angry because Robert recruited people at will, because this is a very secret project and there could be spies from Russia or Germany who secretly worked there. Hearing that, Robert agreed, and this time asked Leslie to recruit his brother Frank and also his friend Lawrence. The next day, Lawrence and Frank finally came to help Robert in the Manhattan Project. Then, after getting security clearance, Robert apparently secretly went to Jean's place, who was still his partner. They still often met several times without Kitty's knowledge, and they both also spent the night there. A few days later, Robert's colleague told him to tell the government that they're not making a new weapon, but a new world, because the bomb that will be made could change the world's history in a big way. Not long after, Robert received news that Jean had committed suicide in her apartment bathroom, allegedly due to depression. But there's another opinion if Jean was killed by the American government because she adhered to the communist ideology just like Germany. Jean's death made Robert very mournful of her death, and he walked alone in the hills of Los Alamos. After calming down, Robert and the others encountered a problem because their research had not made significant progress. Other physicists were angered by Teller because he was researching the hydrogen bomb that they would not make. Therefore, other physicists wanted Teller to just leave Los Alamos. Robert finally stepped in and started to overhaul all of his colleagues' tasks. Klaus Fuchs was appointed by Robert to replace Teller's task. Not wanting to lose Teller, Robert finally allowed Teller to research whatever he wanted, and he invited him to discuss once a week. Finally, after their tasks were overhauled, the making of the atomic bomb finally made progress. From the atomic bomb model and small bomb tests. Feeling that progress had been made, Leslie asked Robert to complete his atomic bomb in July. Like it or not, Robert had to agree, even though he asked Leslie if his bomb would be finished in September. Then, Robert attended a meeting attended by several officials and also military generals. They discussed dropping their atomic bomb on Japan because the Nazis had been defeated first, even though this atomic bomb was actually made to destroy Germany. They all initially wanted to drop the bomb in Tokyo, but it was opposed because it caused only a few casualties. Then, they all finally agreed to drop the atomic bomb in two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because these two cities were the Japanese military bases. Moreover, the estimated casualties will be very large, and certainly Japan will be made to surrender. In short, Robert had successfully perfected his atomic bomb and intended to test it by dropping it from a prepared tower. The physicists flocked to prepare their atomic bomb, starting from inserting various materials, one of which was the trigger, and also slowly raising the atomic bomb. Not only that, Robert and the others also made several posts with calculated distances for them to see the explosion of their atomic bomb. They intended to test the bomb at night because they could clearly see the explosion of the atomic bomb. In short, the night arrived. Unfortunately, the weather did not support the bomb test, so the test had to be postponed. Even though it was postponed, they all still had to prepare for the atomic bomb explosion by checking it regularly. After the rain subsided, Robert started his test. In this scene, we are really made tense because the beginning of Robert Oppenheimer's success changed world history. One of the physicists was also told to look at the change in his electric current, because if it changed a little, the bomb explosion had to be canceled. Finally, Robert Oppenheimer's atomic bomb exploded as expected by them all. Of course, this success made everyone very happy, because with the help of the atomic bomb, Japan could be defeated and stop World War II. Everyone in Los Alamos congratulated Robert, who had been trying to make an atomic bomb. The next day, after the atomic bomb was successfully detonated, 2 atomic bombs with larger size and explosive power were successfully made. The 2 bombs are planned to be placed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the near future. After successfully making his atomic bomb, Robert felt that his discovery could also trigger an atomic bomb war between countries. In short, on August 6, 1945, Hiroshima City, Japan was successfully bombed using an atomic bomb for the first time. Of course, this made the military soldiers very happy about America's decisive victory. But not for physicists, because thanks to his invention, many innocent civilians were also affected. America's decisive victory thanks to the atomic bomb made Robert Oppenheimer's name immediately known by the whole world. Robert then attended an event to speak in front of many people who were very happy with his invention. But even so, Robert continued to feel guilty about the death of many people in Japan. Even during the speech session, Robert was haunted by the effects of the devastating explosion and also saw the shadows of people who had been scorched by his atomic bomb. The next day, Robert met with the then President of America, Harry S. Truman. The president congratulated him on his invention that had saved many American soldiers' lives because they could return from the battlefield quickly. Then Robert also told the president that they should develop cooperation in the field of atomic energy, because Russia would certainly also develop a more devastating bomb than America. The president then asked that the Los Alamos area be further developed with Robert's help for bomb research that certainly has a larger explosive power. But Robert was still thinking about his atomic bomb discovery, and he felt as if he had killed many innocent people. This made the president angry because the world community certainly does not care who the maker is, but who dropped it and indirectly. President Truman is certainly considered to have killed many people compared to Robert's regret. That night, Robert attended a meeting. There, he met Lewis, who informed him that the person Robert had recruited before, Close Fuchs, was a spy from Russia. Because of his negligence, Robert was finally spied on by the FBI wherever he and his wife were, because the FBI suspected that Robert was also a Russian spy. Then Robert attended another event. There they announced the number of victims from the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This made Robert reflect on his actions. After that, Robert met with Taylor, who informed him that Robert's atomic bomb discovery did not end World War II, but rather it was the beginning of the First Cold War, America versus Russia. After sacrificing for the nation, Robert faced many problems. One of them was Lewis, who felt humiliated by Robert during the export hearing of bomb materials. Lewis also increasingly hated Robert because he thought that Robert had incited Albert Einstein to hate him when he introduced Robert to Einstein. Therefore, Lewis contacted someone named William Borden to investigate Robert's past, who had been close to several Germans, and he was also accused of being a Russian spy. As a result, Robert had to undergo a closed trial. In this trial, Lewis also asked someone who could bring down Robert named Roger Robb. From the trial, not only was Robert's disturbed morality revealed due to the effects of the atomic bomb he made, but also Robert's past mistakes, such as appointing project members who turned out to be spies, the death of his mistress, and so on. Even though we know that Robert cheated, Kitty still defended Robert, and Robert also finally dared to confront the top officials in the trial. Then at the trial, Lewis called a witness who he believed would support him, named David. However, it turned out that David revealed that many scientists actually hated Lewis, and that statement immediately made Lewis fail to become the Minister of Commerce. Finally, after various accusations were directed at him, Robert was finally declared loyal to his country. However, he had to lose security access, which made him unable to participate again in government projects which are currently developing the manufacture of hydrogen bombs led by Teller. But even so, Robert accepted the results of his trial with an open heart. At the end of the film, it was finally revealed that Robert did not incite Einstein to hate Lewis, but they both discussed a moment in the past when Robert discussed the mathematical formula about the effect of the atomic bomb explosion he was working on, which turned out to have the potential to destroy the world. And after that, the film ended. That is the plot of the 2023 Oppenheimer film, a film that many people consider to be the best film of the year. But in my opinion, this film is quite heavy. And I also apologize in advance if there is something lacking in the storyline. If there is anything missing, maybe you guys can add it in the comment column. For those of you who like history films, maybe this film is suitable for you to watch directly in theaters to feel the sensation of a real bomb explosion. For those of you who like the movie Storyline channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you get notifications of new videos from this channel. Thank you for watching. That's all, and see you